because the base is so angry.
But certainly, Mike, there must be one Republican candidate that has served one day in public office that can pull some votes in.
Why is that important, Joe, that they have to serve in public office? Why is that important to you?
How
about knowing where the switch is?
For the same reason why I have said for 8 years it was important that Barack Obama actually understand how Washington worked before he went to Washington. We see it in the Iran deal. We saw it in the Affordable Care Act. I've heard it from people who were loyal to Barack Obama and worked for Barack Obama that the most maddening thing about working for him was he would stake a position and he would say, I am right, and now I'm going to stay here until the entire world comes to me. This is why, Amy, we have the most important foreign policy decision since George W. Bush tragically went into Iraq that is now passing with 41 votes in the United States Senate. That's why we've had the most substantial piece of legislation pass in domestic politics since Medicare in 1965 that passed without a single vote. Barack Obama's most important foreign policy initiative and most important domestic policy initiative passed with no Republican votes. Now, you can say what you want about Bill Clinton. We all can. The guy grew up in Arkansas. He grew up in a conservative state, and he knew he had to compromise. And he did compromise. And that's why over 30% of Republicans approved of the job that he did. Ronald Reagan, he governed in California, a fairly progressive state. He knew how to deal with liberals. That's why when he left office, more than 30% of Democrats supported him. There is a reason why Barack Obama is the most divisive president, if you just look at the poll numbers, and the divide between Republican and Democratic support of any other president in U.S. history other than George W. Bush. And if you have never run for office, if you have never been in office, if you have never had to slug it out in Washington, D.C., and deal with people who called you a Nazi the day before because you want to get long-term health care through for federal employees, then you don't know how it's done. It ain't being a CEO. It ain't being a doctor. And I know Eisenhower was never in office, but then again, Eisenhower freed Europe and had to deal with some of the most arrogant SOBs ever. You deal with Monty, you figure out how to beat Hitler, you can deal with the House and the Senate. I just don't see it here, though, Mike. I don't see it. I want at least one Republican that served one day in office in that top three.